Everyone, thank you so much for tuning into the always informative, always entertaining, The Boxing Authorities. We have a full boat today, but at the desk, as always, with me is Mr. Luther Dupree Jr. and Smoking Jim Frazier.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. Unwonder. Okay, we have some very special guests today. There is a fight, I believe it's February 16th, I believe, at the Priory in the north side in Pittsburgh, very famous Priory. To my left is Devon Siegfried, 3-0, 3 knockouts, police officer here in Pittsburgh. He's a cruiserweight. He will be fighting Justin Maggi, 1-1-1. And then to my right is Ted Mrkonja. He's 1-0-1 knockouts, no losses, 1 win, 1 knockout. He will be telling you about his recently named opponent and his trainer, Brunick. I had it right before there. Brunick, all right. Brunick, my fault. Say my last name. All right, so we're even. John Brunick, trainer. Okay, guys, we're gonna February 16th, this coming Saturday at the Priory. You know what? Let's start with you, Devon. First of all, you're a policeman.
I am.
So
yes,
tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I work for Northern Regional Police Department in Allegheny County. I've been there. I'll be in my 7th year, September 1st.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah, I started out up north in Mercer County, did a year there, and then was fortunate enough to find a job down in Allegheny County, kind of closer to where I grew up, closer to where I train and all that. So, and they're very supportive of my boxing career, so I'm fortunate. Yeah.
So where are you training now?
Training out of Elwood City with head coach Jack Main.
Okay,
That's.
I knew Devon was going to be good when Rayco wore Saunders. Through a fight card in God's country, Monroeville.
Come on, Jim.
You know, he's knocking everybody out. But all the ring card girls was going crazy. I'm like, who y'all talking about? They was fighting at him. I said, that's when I knew he was going to be great.
Tell our audience a little bit about yourself out of the ring.
I guess I'm just a normal dude. I'm just a guy. I don't know.
No, you're in the ring. That ain't normal.
Yeah, I mean,
that's good.
Outside of boxing, I guess I'm a personal trainer. I train at Hurt Locker. It's a local gym. We specialize with mostly athletes, so not really too much.
Any HGH? No,
come on.
Maybe if
You always trying to find somebody looking for a new supplier. Stop, Jim. Come on, buddy.
He wants to get his calves
He's
better.
on weightlifting.
He wants to get his calves
But
better.
hey, let me ask you a question. I've been following little Teddy since he was born. Listen, this guy got muscles on top of muscles. Now, you can go anywhere from 135 to 147 in any given time. I hear about these guys that's weight drained all the time. How do you make the weight, but these professional guys that's getting millions and millions of dollars can't seem to do it?
I gotta owe that to good training. I mean, I got Brunick on my side. He's always on my behind. You know about it. And also just experience. I mean, I've been, doing sports that use weight as a parameter, weight classes and whatnot ever since I was 8 years old. I mean, I started boxing when I was 8, I wrestled, and I was always conscious of my weight, whether that be a good thing or a bad thing. Some people think that's non-ethical. You're 10 years old, you're on a scale, you're wondering, oh man, am I allowed to eat this? So I just want a Skittle, you know what I mean? But, I mean, I think that, that repetition, always watching my weight. Discipline, exactly. Yeah.
Right. But John Brunick, okay, you're his trainer. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you like to have him do.
Well, as far as the mentality that we carry into the gym is consistency is the main thing. I believe that our training consistency with conditioning and strength conditioning and boxing style all stems from the repetition and consistency of what we're doing. And we stay on that. And we stay pretty good on our timing.
Right. Well, Jim makes a joke about, weight.
Smoking Jim to you.
Smoking Jim, whatever. We know you're not concerned about weight. I mean, we look at your high school pictures and see you now, we know you don't care about weight. But being weight drained is a real thing. I mean, Jill makes fun of it, but there's guys who've ended up in the hospital or even worse Now, what do you think about that? When you saw Teofimo Lopez a couple fights ago against Kambosos and Devon Haney, these guys are
Lazy.
big guys
Lazy.
dropping down to 135. You know, some
Vinny
guys doing
almost
right.
died in the ring against
Yeah,
Mayweather.
Ortiz,
Yeah.
Virgil Ortiz has also had trouble.
Well,
As
you
a
have
trainer
to-
and fighters first, what do you think about the weight
My-
training and what's happening nowadays
My
with so many guys?
responsibility for Teddy, putting him in the ring in that situation, is that make sure that he is at the top of his health. And when people starve themselves or dehydrate themselves to make weight, that puts them in a position where their brain's not protected
Right.
from the blows.
Exactly.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that. And I had watched a program that interviewed Jesse Reed. And Jesse Reed said that if you don't lose weight properly for the fight, you don't look like you trained at all for the fight, no matter
Okay.
how hard you
Right,
trained.
right.
If you show up and you didn't lose the weight properly. So I expressed that to Teddy and said, listen, let's do this and be on call and be on time all the time.
Right.
That way, you can be healthy with nutrition and be ready to fight at 35 or 45 anytime that they want us.
Mark the tape. That was good. That was some good stuff.
Did you learn
That was
something,
some
Jim?
good stuff.
You know what the
I
worst-
hope you
you
learned
said-
You learned
something.
something, Jim. It's a real thing.
John, when you said that, though, the first couple things I thought about was when Muhammad Ali fought Larry Holmes, October of '81, or I think it was '81, when he lost all that weight. He looked good. He wasn't heavy, but he wasn't.
Thyroids.
Right.
He had thyroids then, didn't he?
I have no
Yeah,
idea,
yeah,
but he was taking some kind of a water pill or something like that. I'm not sure about that. Or when Vinny Paz fought Mayweather, I said November of '88 against Mayweather. Vinny walks around at 170, okay? And back then he was fighting 135. He damn
Right.
near died.
Right.
You know.
And that's because of dehydration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anybody who would use fluids intravenously to recover, that's not a true recovery.
But see, Teddy's lucky he has somebody like you to oversee that.
Break it
Vinny
down,
didn't.
yeah.
They wanted him to lose that weight. Joey Gamache when he fought
Well, that was where the
Arturo
money
Gatti.
was at.
What's that?
That was where the
Yeah,
money was
yeah,
at for him
bigger
to
money.
fight,
Well,
fight it that
the
way.
Duvas made sure
And
he
they
did
almost
that.
killed him.
Okay, Devon, talk about your career so far before we talk about your upcoming
Yeah,
fight.
my career's been great. My head coach, Jack Maine, has really honed me in. I started off, I think, in my opinion, a terrible boxer, but I always had like a very high competitive drive and will to win. So I was just outlasting people based out of, I guess, stamina in the amateurs. And now I'm starting to really like put together the boxing fundamentals and things like that so that I can actually compete with some high-level boxers. So, so far my career's been
I've never
good.
seen anybody go the distance with you. Is it a disappointment if you leave it up to the judges?
Well, no, actually, I kind of look forward to some of the later round fights. Like this next fight I'm going to have is a 6-rounder. I'm excited about that because, again, not a lot of my professional fights, none actually, have gone the distance. But I think that's a true telltale sign of how a boxer.
Six
you know,
rounder?
yeah,
You
this
fight
next one.
longer than Man and Turk.
Yeah. I can't wait till I get to the 6, 8, 10, hopefully a 12-round title fight. Yeah, I think me personally, the longer the fight goes, the better I become in the fight.
Who's
So-
the guy that was fighting all those one-rounders, knocking them out? And then we
Butter beam!
Richard Torres,
No, who was the
Smokey
guy who
Jim's
knocking
guy.
everybody out in the first round?
Oh, you're
As soon
talking
as he got
about Edgar
tested-
Berlanga.
Berlanga. As soon as he got
Edgar Berlanga.
tested,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're looking for that test. You want it.
Yeah, I think it's a true telltale sign of how a boxer reacts and overcomes
Good point.
adversity, and you kind of need to be tested correctly along your professional career to make sure that you're able to go those 6, 8, 10-round fights.
I tell you what, not to cut you off, Lou. I tell you what, I was in the
cutting me
deep.
off.
I was deep in the Hill
about to have a
District
fight
this
here.
weekend. I was deep in the Hill District where Charlie Burley grew up, and I tell you what, I seen about 14 deer. How do you handle it in Elwood City, brother?
They're everywhere. Allegheny County, you wouldn't expect Allegheny County to have so many.
They're all over
I'm
the
dodging
place.
deer on the road.
Now, Justin Maggie, is that? Have you seen him?
Maggi,
Maggi.
the Italian,
Yeah.
Maggi.
Yeah,
Well, you gotta
Maggi, yeah.
What, you know
I-
much about him? Have you done any film study? Have you seen him
No,
fight?
not
or?
too much. Him and his coaches do a good job of kind of protecting his professional career as far as like not having a lot of video out on him. So good on him. I've seen some videos. He's a big, strong guy. He's very technical. His hands are always up. He throws smooth, straight combinations. So I'm looking forward to it. He's a guy that likes to come forward and throw quick, hard combinations. I myself hate to take a step backwards. I like to come forward and throw those
man.
same combinations.
Action-packed.
So it should be a really, really good fight.
So now, weight-wise, what are you looking to come in?
It's a contracted weight at 190.
Okay.
My last couple fights have been at light heavyweight. I think I'm probably a better natural light heavyweight. I have more of an advantage, but I don't mind fighting at cruiserweight either because most of my sparring partners, training partners are a little heavier anyway. So, it's good to get used to the bigger, stronger guys.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some variations. Like with the bigger, stronger guys comes a little bit of like less mobility, less speed, where I can capitalize on that. So we'll see. I think I'm a kind of a hybrid fighter.
Ted, now, first couple questions. How many rounds is this fight for you?
This is a 4-rounder.
Okay. Now, you didn't know who your opponent was until
Yeah, late
yesterday, okay, or
yeah.
something like that. So both of you, you can't study, you can't feel your opponent out. You have no time. What's your game plan for it?
It's not something I'm not used to. In the amateurs, fighting tournaments, you get your opponent the day before, the day of,
Okay.
whatever it is. It's not something that's, something I'm completely foreign to. I think it's something I'm used to. So it's like, I'm not going to plan for what you do. I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to make you react to my style.
Now, John, the great coach John Wooden used to say he never watched video of his opponent. He said, I'm not worried about that. If we do everything that we do, okay, I'm not worried about it, which is basically what he's saying. Your thoughts as a coach / trainer, not knowing who the opponent is?
Oh, I'm with Teddy. I'm sticking with our systems. We have probably 3 or 4 varieties of what we can offer in the ring. We want to stay to the science. We want to establish ourselves as in control of the ring and see what happens from there.
Teddy, so you're fighting, what you said you can go from 130 to 140.
135.
135 to 140. The fight over the weekend, I don't know if you get a chance to see it, Teofimo Lopez versus Jermaine Ortiz. Did you see the fight? And
I didn't watch this fight
Okay.
last weekend. No.
What do you think as far as Teofimo Lopez as a fighter?
As far as Lopez, he's a good fighter. He's extremely talented. I think that entire weight class is extremely competitive.
Yeah.
They're all really good fighters. I think Teofimo's a really good puncher. I think he's a better puncher than most of the other competitors in that weight class. I think he's naturally stronger. I think he has a bigger frame, I would say, than the others.
So if you had your top 3 in 140, who would you say right now?
140.
140 in that division. I know you like Teo.
Yeah, I know we have a lot of guys that are kind of like fighting 135, saying they're 140.
Yeah,
They're saying they're done at 35,
Right.
so it's hard to say. I'll just say some names. 140, I would go Haney, because he's 40. What
Yeah,
we say?
yeah, he's 140
'Cause
now,
I know
yeah.
he's even discussing moving up again and whatnot.
140, yeah.
I'll go Haney, Teofimo, and then is Shakur retired? Is he 35? Is he
He's not
40?
retired. He's still
You know what I
Yeah, I mean, it's so close. Now, is there a big difference, 135 to 140? I mean, to us, it's 5 pounds. I could pick up 5 pounds easy, but as a fighter,
Yeah, just wear the boot.
I think it's about where you
you pick up
naturally.
5 pounds a day with all that stuff you eat, but
I think it's where you feel more comfortable. So I don't know. I mean, there's like sweet spots. So I could gain 2 or 3 pounds and I could feel off about it. You know what I mean? I could feel heavy in my legs, whereas like if I lose 2 or 3, I feel really good. I mean, I think it's kind of something whenever you get used to a weight, it's 5 pounds. And what does 5 pounds do? You know what I mean? It's
But you can tell.
oh, you can tell, you can feel it. You know what I mean? I think maybe some of those guys have that same preference where it's like. It's 5 pounds, and me and you are like, oh, come on, Devon, you lose to 5 pounds.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unify, you got it, whatever. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, maybe he really feels weak at 135. Not that he's ever really weak. I mean, he's Devon Haney, but
But to lose that weight does drain
he
you.
might feel a lot stronger at 40.
I think I speak for everybody that's watching this that we would love to hire Teddy full-time to replace Luther. he brings some insight, Lou.
He does
wants-
bring
he wants
insight.
All you bring is a walking boot.
You want the guy from Dallas to replace me instead of replace Luther.
Luther got off work today with that fake boot.
All right, Stevie Wonder. Come
Two-part
on, man.
question. When did you want to become a professional boxer, and who were your role models?
So I didn't originally plan to become professional. I just wanted to compete in the amateurs, do something that was good for my body and health and everything like that. It wasn't until I started having some success in the amateurs that I thought it could be a possibility. And then my head coach, Jack Maine, seemed to really push me to do it because he believed in me since day one. I don't know how or what he saw the first day I came into the gym, but I looked terrible the first few years, and then slowly but surely he built me up to where I'm at now, and he believed in me from the first step into the gym. So yeah, it wasn't ever a plan, but it happened, and so far I've been successful.
Did you grow up watching boxing? And if so, who were some of the guys that you enjoyed watching?
Yeah, I wasn't really into. I was a football player like all my whole
What high
life
school?
growing up. Elwood City.
They play football there?
Oh,
Hey, they got some new AstroTurf
listen,
there now. I've been to a couple games.
Yeah.
They got one of the best fields
Chuck
in
Knox
the
used to
world now.
coach there. Chuck Knox used to coach there.
Oh, yeah.
I was a football player my whole life. Grew
Wow.
up in athletics like that.
What
but
position?
Linebacker and tight end.
You could.
Wow. You didn't jog on the field and hurt your Achilles like the dude.
Come on.
Nah.
Come on, that's a freak.
I never
that's a freak
seen that
injury.
before.
Yeah, so
Who were some guys that you looked up to or inspirations?
I mean, I have to look at Muhammad Ali. He's the greatest of all time. He was awesome to watch, like the Rumble in the Jungle and those type of mega fights that were
The gorilla in
unprecedented. Unprecedented fights for that time and that era and televised fights. It was unbelievable to see like the playbacks of those.
You ain't that old, man.
No.
playback.
Playbacks, Jill.
Playback.
What does that mean?
I'm
You don't
watching.
know
You're the only one on the panel that was there when Jack Johnson was fighting ringside, Jim. The rest of us watched it on tape.
Yeah.
Come on, you dinosaur.
I love watching the old fight. The old fights, and I don't mean any disrespect to any of you guys, but the older fights, those were just a different type of fight, and it was different to watch back then.
That's a great point. Now, Jim he's been completely exposed when he says this. He says today is the greatest heavyweights ever.
Thank you.
Everybody we've
Thank
had
you.
on the show.
I
I
want
mean,
John
everybody.
Little- let
has
little Teddy agrees with me.
Everybody has disagreed with you who we had on the show.
Jerry
They said
Cooney.
the 70s,
Ask-
the 90s.
ask
So starting
John-
with the
John
cruiserweight,
agrees.
Devon.
Well, we're going to ask
These
John that.
heavyweights and the ones just 70s, 90s.
Yeah.
Where do you rank this? Because Jim's been getting exposed every show because he said today is the greatest heavyweights.
Well,
I
we'll ask-
disagree.
we're going to ask John
Devon,
about
where
that
do you
historical-
say?
I'm not sure. If I could pick and choose, like there are some heavyweights today that I look at and I think they would have a lot of success back in the day.
Who?
Alexander Usyk,
Thank you.
Deontay Wilder.
Thank you.
Even though his last fight wasn't great.
Neither. I think both of those
Tyson
guys
Fury.
get destroyed.
Those are
Tyson Fury's the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Jim, stop. He just got. He should have
However-
lost to an MMA fighter his
I
last
will
fight.
say the Evander Holyfields, the Muhammad Ali's, those old school fighters, Rocky Marciano, even though he
Legends.
wasn't even really a true heavyweight, but he fought the
188.
true heavyweight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
last fight, right.
I look at those guys.
Well,
and I
Rocky-
Can he finish?
Rocky
Can he-
Marciano.
Can he
Rocky
Jim,
Marciano held
Jim,
on to
can
his
you let
money.
me guess?
Evander's broke.
Hey,
Jim, can you let our guest finish?
those old school guys, I think, just had a different mentality,
Yes.
a different toughness.
Right.
It was a different
Exactly.
time in the country. Like war was going on or finishing, and those guys were just built from a different cloth.
Sure were.
So
well, we talk about it all the
while I-
time.
yeah.
When LaMotta
Another
and
L for
Robinson
Jim.
fought each other every 5 minutes. So again, we're going to get to
So
John.
Chuck
Morgan.
Wepner could fight today. Leon Spinks could fight today.
Well, there's always going to be guys of that ilk.
There would
Guys
be-
can
I don't
fight.
mean to disrespect my guests. I'm gonna be quiet.
there would be good matchups.
There's always guys. I mean, you can pick.
Yeah.
You can pick a bunch of guys. Joe Joyce back there.
Otto
You can always
Wallin.
pick- Yeah.
Otto
All
Wallin.
these guys you can pick. You can always pick an
When did you
average
want to become a
guy.
professional boxer, and who were some of the role models that you inspired to be like?
When did I want to become a professional boxer? Well, I felt like it was
Day he was
something that was
born.
going to happen. It was something that was going to happen. It was a natural progression. my first fight, I was 8 years old, and I've always been in the gym, and it was just something that I kind of grew into. You know what I mean? It was without a choice. There was no present choice, right? It was just that was what it was going to be.
Who were some guys that you enjoyed watching, and maybe some role models?
Oh man, when I was in the gym as a kid, I would always, even to this day, there will be times where I'm like, this round I'm gonna fight like whatever, insert certain boxer. And the boxers I always chose were, I was like Zab Judah.
Yeah,
I liked
Zab,
Zab.
yeah.
I liked Yuriorkis Gamboa.
Yeah.
Gamboa, ooh,
I like
yeah.
Gamboa.
That's
That was great.
Purnell.
yeah.
Oscar.
Sweet Pea.
Yeah, Purnell, Oscar. So like with
Oscar.
those four, I was like, okay, this round, if you think about it, like the
You
names I
channeled
gave,
your inner.
yeah, it was
them
kind of like I
guys.
had the
Yeah,
brawler
yeah.
round, or like
Right.
the big combination round. That was the Gamboa round. The round where I'm moving, I'm using my feet. That's Purnell.
Good.
That's
I like
Sweet
that.
Pea, yeah,
And it's
yeah.
good that you have the ability to do that.
Yeah, and
Because some guys, they're just one way, so that's good.
Yeah, I think it was something I kind of worked on.
Luther's
subconsciously.
Mark Breland. This is his last show. We gotta get Teddy in here, bro.
All right, well, when we come back, we have a lot more with our very special guests, Devon Siegfried, Ted Mrkonja, and John Brunick. And him
Stevie
and Luther
Wonder.
and myself. We'll be right back on the Boxing Authorities. All right, welcome back to the Boxing Authorities. Luther,
Teddy,
just-
we got to ask him the question as far as heavyweight boxers. Just weigh in on it. Heavyweight boxers today or 70s, 90s. What's the top? Where do you rank
and
today?
John, we want you to.
Yeah, we definitely got to get.
90s reigns supreme. For
Definitely
sure.
agree. That was a great era.
A lot of crack babies in the 90s.
Who you?
John, your thoughts about the heavyweight division first. We always have a segment, the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. And Luther and I feel that the 70s were the best. 90s is right there, then the 80s, then today.
Well, I would definitely say the 70s were the
Yes.
kings of the ring, for sure. And, but today's fighter and the size of the men
Thank you.
and the athleticism and the way that training has changed throughout the years would give, Lennox Lewis came into the scene and he was a lot bigger than a lot of people. Riddick Bowe came into the scene, was a lot bigger than.
And lost
The-
it.
Well, now
and
those
lost to
two guys,
advantage.
yes, those two
And
guys would
that,
fight in
that
any era.
started the heavyweights to grow
Right.
in size. Could they beat Ali? Probably not.
Nope.
Could they
Not a
beat
chance.
Foreman? Absolutely not.
I'm with you. Well, Lennox, I think Lennox is one of the few guys. That's when you say somebody is the greatest. Lennox could have fought in any era, but like you said, though, I mean, Foreman had a big punch,
Yeah.
Marciano had a big punch, and Muhammad was Muhammad.
And Lennox
Yeah, but-
quit when he seen the Klitschko brothers.
But
He
really,
beat the Klitschko and
but
retired.
really
Jim.
the
Get
bottom
your facts
line
right.
is size is one thing, but having the animal instinct to
Exactly.
survive in the
Skill.
ring is
Skill,
another.
the
And
heart.
Yeah.
that's Mike
Well, something
Tyson.
that Devon said about
Mike Tyson had his opponents beat before they even come down
Yes,
into
sir.
the ring.
not all of them though.
Well, I mean,
Most of them.
in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, but
In the
but
beginning.
when somebody like
I mean, Holyfield stood his ground with him,
Holyfield,
absolutely.
Buster Douglas, Razor Ruddock, even though Razor lost.
Buster Douglas got a long count.
Yeah. Ooh, that's what Lou always say.
Yeah.
But he did
Yes,
knock,
he did.
he did knock Tyson
Buster
out.
could
After
have
he got
gotten
that
up.
long count,
Buster
yes.
could have gotten up, but he heard the count. And if you remember, he went like this. Damn, and he could have gotten up sooner, but he was smart. It wasn't like it was a 15. Luther makes it sound like he was on there for a
Well,
week.
Could Buster
He was
have
down
gotten
there
up
long-
against Holyfield, or did he just quit?
I don't know who got. I don't know who got a longer count, Buster Douglas or Tyson Fury. They both were on the canvas about 20 seconds.
yeah.
But
But something Devin had mentioned about, like we talked one time. We did a story on Pittsburgh boxing, but we also popped in when LaMotta and Robinson fought. Now they killed each other, and they fought a couple weeks later. And in between time, LaMotta fought here in Forbes Field. After these guys
Different
now
time,
they
yeah.
fight once, twice
Once
a year.
a
Those
year,
guys, like
some
he
guys.
said, like Devin said, yes, there was different economic factors, different, but those guys were tough. Not that these guys aren't tough. And I would not want them to, after a brutal fight like that, you don't want them to go back in the ring that quick. But
They
it was a
related to
different
you? They
mindset.
related to you? You got a little soft touch in you. What do you mean? Get him back in there.
I don't want to see anybody, like what's that guy's name we always talk about, Kalnaki. I mean, he takes a beating. I don't want him to see him fight 2 weeks
should,
later.
yeah. No medical doctor should
and
approve him.
Robinson beat the hell out of each other. And everybody knows that they fought a few weeks later, but what they don't know, that LaMotta fought here at Forbes Field and Robinson fought, which is crazy. They didn't wait for
It was a
promotion and all that.
Yeah.
So to what you said, just different times.
It's a different time.
Your thoughts on the historical part of that?
Well, yeah, absolutely, that it was different times. I mean, I tried to talk to Teddy about staying busy.
Right, we talked about that too.
Staying fresh in the game. Don't have a lackadaisical time where you could fall to something that you didn't see coming.
Yeah.
You
And you
start
lose that
putting time,
sharpness.
Right.
yeah, you start putting time in between fights and you might lose interest.
That's a good point too.
See,
Yeah.
you know what? We always talk about the boxer's mindset, and I'm always worried about safety. CTE, head injuries. Me and Claudio deal with it every day with Smoke and Jim and his CTE issues. So we know the struggle. As far as boxers, I mean, it's not pretty. It's not a pretty thing. Do you guys think about that? And of course you guys do, but I mean, is that in the back of your mind?
You don't
like-
want to put that in the box.
No, but I'm just saying they have to
What kind of
protect.
question
They
is
have
that?
to protect themselves. They
that's
see you, Jill. They don't want to be you. But as far as people see fighters. Oh, we want everybody in there going to war.
Right.
But no, I like a guy who's sticking and moving and not getting his
That's
head
what Cooney
beaten.
said.
Exactly.
It's all about hitting and not getting
Yeah,
hit.
stick and move. Yeah, it could be a nice war, but after the fight, these guys could end up like Jim, and I don't want to see more Jims out here. But and David, I know you give out a lot of headaches, but I know you have to, one punch away. As a boxer, what is the mindset?
Yeah, I don't think about it too much. It's in the back of my head. I am cognizant of it, but I don't
Doesn't
think
take
about
over.
it. No. Fortunately for me, and I don't know, like maybe Teddy is different, or hopefully not, but I have never had any injuries boxing related. When I was
Good,
playing
good.
football growing up, I'm sure you've been the same way. I've had concussions, knee surgery, ankle problem,
Jim got
everything
constant
with
concussions.
those high school collegiate sports. But as soon as I got into boxing, it's like all that melted away. It was like a safer sport because I think we're so cognizant of the head injuries
Okay.
and things
Well, I
like
think
that.
the reason for that in high school was because you played El Equipa with all them recruits they had.
Oh, Jim, come on. But you're talking about Gateway? Gateway should be punishing all the recruiting, but they don't win, so I guess they don't really care about that. Under the radar. But Teddy, again, just your feelings as far as defense and,
I mean, yeah, always keep the head moving and the hands up. We preach that in the gym, that's for sure. I trained a lot with Paul, with Paul
Spatafor,
growing
yeah.
up, yeah, and he was big on defense. He's known for his defense, one of the best defensive fighters of all time.
For sure. Gave it to Floyd Mayweather in sparring.
Teddy's so fast that he can hit the light switch and be in the bed before the room gets dark. He's been fast his whole life, but people
Jim
don't
made
give
that up,
enough.
by the way.
But people don't
How many
give
times
enough
you gonna say that,
credit.
Jim?
This man ran cross country. He wrestled his whole life. And there's a discipline that you have for making weight. There's a 6'6" fighter that fights at 154. What's his name?
You're talking about the Fundora?
Fundora. He never has
Sebastian
trouble
Fundora.
making weight, but all your guys you like,
Everybody's
they weight drain, Lou.
Everybody's Pete Rose, when he
I don't
came
know
up,
how
was
he's-
relatively small framed. Then when he retired, he was thick. That's
Devon
what happened.
Haney's supposed to be a Muslim. They ain't even supposed to eat meat. How come he can't make 135?
Jim, guys are growing. I don't know how.
He ain't praying enough to hold up.
You gave Allah another name.
John, let me ask you. I coach
CTE.
baseball. I scout professionally, and I'm very
Does
critical.
Tank Davis have something to do with him not wanting to make that 135? That's all I'm asking.
Tank Davis
I'm very
fought at
critical of
140. Tank
coaching
Davis fought at
today.
140 before.
It's
He
Well,
used
if,
to
he
go
go,
to 140.
if Tank Davis goes to 140, like little Teddy said, Devon Haney will move to 147. He ain't fighting Tank.
They said they can
Tank
make the
Tank.
fight. Tank is not.
it's nowhere
moving.
near. Baseball coaching is nowhere near what it was when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. Not even close.
You that
Tell us
old?
about- I'm 59. But tell me,
You can't talk
is
about
the boxing training better today? I'm not talking about the weights and all that. I mean the psychology, the X's and O's, the philosophies. Is it better today than it was in the 70s?
Did
80s?
you see Mazeroski play?
I did. I interviewed him.
Well, I always I talk to Teddy a lot about a lot of different things. You have to be in tune with the person that you're putting into that environment.
That's right. Not everybody's
In-
one
In
size
every
fits all.
aspect
That's
of his
right.
life.
That's right.
Now, getting back to your question about
Training today versus yesterday.
yeah, trainers today have more to go on, studying wise, if you take that route as a trainer. If you want to look at trainers in the past, I always tell Teddy this, we're not inventing the wheel.
There you go.
We didn't come up with anything different in boxing.
Exactly.
What we have to do is look throughout the century of boxing and pick out the best things that the champions created and master that and add it to our toolbox that we can reach in. Like we talk, and okay, he's fighting at 140, but we study Jersey Joe Wilcox.
Walcott,
Legend,
sure.
sure.
That's right. Yeah.
For the foot movement and the head movement alone.
As long as you don't study how he held on
Well-
to that rope when Rocky.
For timing and for timing and rhythm, he is the person that had that master.
That's one of my
So you
all-time
have to just
favorites.
pluck that. And Ezra Charles took that uppercut pretty nice at Yorksville too. So
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
He-
Yes, sir.
so those different types of things that you can look at. And now the influences that I had growing up as fighters was Salvador Sanchez was one of my
Oh, man,
favorites.
I'm so glad you mentioned him.
Yes, he doesn't get. He doesn't
Boy,
get.
he was
Salvador Sanchez was one of my
Super-
favorite
on his way to
fighters,
being a
and
major
I was
star.
nowhere near 125 pounds to fight. I don't know, it was just his style and discipline, and he was the epitome of boxing at that
Yeah,
time.
he was big time.
And then obviously Marvin Hagler was my other big influence as a youngster growing up.
Smoker
So
Jim's favorite fighter, Marvin Hagler.
those are the kind of things that I try to bring to Teddy because he's a younger man, and he's not really the type of kid that want to sit there and watch fights.
Okay.
We have discussions, and we just had a discussion back in the room there about how are you excited about fighting? Do you get excited about it? And I'll let you talk about it because I thought it was right on.
Yeah, I feel like that's a question you always get as a fighter before you fight. Are you excited? It's coming up. Are you excited? And I always feel awkward about it because I don't get excited. I mean, I was talking to my dad yesterday about it, and he was like, "We're prepared. I'm prepared to fight." I think if you're excited to fight, maybe you've never been in there with a real fighter.
But
Okay.
you know,
what
everybody's
I mean?
different, though.
Yeah,
Remember,
yeah.
again, using these guys over.
Well, maybe we got to bring Taylor Swift in to get him excited about a fight.
But Marciano used to fall asleep before a fight. He was like just out asleep. Or a guy like Vinny Paz is like all wound up. He's half cocked. He's going crazy. So everybody's different. If that's not you, it's not you.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd
Doesn't
heard
mean you don't care.
I'd heard that Ray Robinson, he didn't enjoy boxing. There was a fight.
Great
that
tap
started-
dancer, though. Boy, he could tap dance.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like you,
But I
Jim.
mean, I had heard a story about a fight the night prior. He went to go see some pastor in a church or something, and he was talking. He said he had had a dream that
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
killed
they
the
was
guy.
gonna
or
kill
And he
him,
did.
and then he ended up doing it.
He ended up
Yeah.
doing it, yeah. And it was something that he did more so because he had to, or because he saw the talent that he had in it, and he chased it. You know what I mean? And he did it for the money he needed to. And I think that it's something that, for me, it's something that I feel comes naturally to me. I think that boxing is something that is, when it's all said and done, you know what I mean, after the fight, and you're back in the locker room and you finished up, it's fun. You can look back at it.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
right.
Regardless of what the decision was, you know what I mean? Or regardless of the outcome, you look back at it and it's something that you accomplished. You know what I mean? That was a hard camp. That was a tough fight, and I got through it. And I think it makes you better as a person. It strengthens you.
Right.
It kind of thickens your skin up a little bit, and you can enjoy it then. But as for before the fight, it's preparation. You know what I mean? Fight night, I'm excited.
Right.
But like a week out, am I excited for the fight? I'm focused on preparing.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a great line.
yeah.
And Luther, I don't know if you knew this, Jim went to his pastor and said he was afraid he was gonna have a show with bad rankings, and damn if it didn't happen. Phil, if you had something, or Jim?
Hey, Lou, maybe that's why Sugar Ray Robinson didn't fight Charlie Burley, because he had a dream he killed you.
Oh, come on, man. We're not going to go here, man. Burley definitely deserved a shot. I wanted to ask you guys, as far as training, road work, how important is, I'll start with you, Devon, how important is that to you? And do you get out and do much road work, or, you know, I guess some of the new school trainers, they just do it on a treadmill? What is your views on road
I'm
work?
big into road work. I think it's very, very important. The cardiovascular health is a huge part of boxing because in order to be able to last those longer fights, those extended rounds, and if you're going, 6, 8, 10, or a 12-round title fight, you have to have the cardiovascular endurance to be able to, either take blows, give blows, and then last the entire fight. So
Okay.
One really, I guess, old school beneficial way to do that is the road work. So I enjoy it. I used to
Okay.
hate running. Now I actually really, really enjoy it because
Good,
it's kind of
good.
like a solitude, like a very peaceful time for me, to where I can like think about the fight, think about things that may or may not happen, think about like combinations I might throw or might get thrown at me, and different scenarios that could play out during the fight. So I actually really, really enjoy it.
Love hearing
Devin, bodybuilding, Arnold Schwarzenegger's the greatest. Maybe Ronnie Coleman beat him out. They got a thing called the Olympia, which is the Super Bowl bodybuilding, where Ronnie Coleman won 8 Olympias, and through the first 4 Olympias, in the first 10 years of his professional career, he was a full-time police officer.
Yeah.
Do you think that you can do it for a long time, being a professional fighter and a full-time police officer?
I think I can. Yeah, I think I can. Thankfully, believe it or not, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Mark Wahlberg actually donated a full gym to our police department. Mark Wahlberg, Performance Inspired, and a couple other TRX or one of the companies, they donated like a $50,000 state of the art training facility in the basement of our police department. So I can utilize that while I'm working.
Man, that's great.
And yeah,
What's a typical day when you're working full-time? Like, do you get up and do your road work in the morning? And
Yeah, sometimes. I guess it would depend on like weather and time and things like that. But yeah, I could get up in the morning, get some road work in. I actually kind of I've been messing around with training a little later on, especially when I'm working. I'll have a work day where maybe I can do some things during the day, but the main training session that I have is at night. And the reason I like to do that is because I fight
You fight at night.
usually in the
That's right.
evening, and I
Yeah,
like
that's
to have
smart.
my heart
That's
at a high elevated, for whatever reason. I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's actual science behind it, but I feel like I get my best output if I train at the same time that I'm planning on
what's your
fighting.
nutrition? Like, you eat 4, 5, 6 times a day, or small
No,
meals?
4 times a day. Yeah, regular meals. I eat healthy, but I'm not super strict on my diet. Thankfully for me, I don't have to lose anyway. I actually have to gain some weight for this fight. So
Come with me.
yeah, eat
Go
a
with
couple
Jim.
cheeseburgers and
Jim, when he was talking, it reminded me, what did Lombardi say? Fatigue makes cowards
Cowards
out
out
of
of
us all,
all.
yeah.
What's a typical day for you, little Teddy?
My days vary. Sometimes I'm working out in the morning. Sometimes I'm working out at night. If I'm working out in the morning, I'm up first thing. I'm in the gym. I'll finish up then, and then I head to work. Finish up work. Thankfully, I don't work too long hours. I got a pretty nice, I have a pretty nice gig going on, and then I'm generally back in the gym in the evenings. So I'm either doing something light in the evenings. Either I'm doing my road work, or I'm just working on moving in the ring, something lighter. And then in the mornings, if I'm doing a 2-a-day, which is not every day, but if I'm doing a 2-a-day and I'm boxing in the evenings, and in the mornings we're focused more on strength and conditioning.
John, as a player, I was excited about playing and all that kind of stuff, but as a coach, I don't sleep at night. And we do everything we can prior to a game, but after a while, like Mike Ditka used to say, you prepare them, you drill them, you send them out there. That's all you can do. As a trainer, is it hard? Might be harder for you than it is for Teddy.
No, I'm pretty relaxed. I'm confident in what we've established together as a team. Getting back to the road work and the outside work. I think I've introduced Teddy to the outside elements more in training.
Okay,
And doing
good.
very different things. And I always preach to him and I say, who's doing this? We're doing it. No one's doing what we're doing. That's what's gonna put us ahead of the game. And it could be raining, snowing, sleet, ice, we're out in the elements to try to just get yourself in condition for everything. And not get stale in the gym.
Yeah.
I see a lot of guys in the gym that get stale because they're just breathing the same air and doing the same thing, and it's monotonous, and
Great
you
point.
really have to break it up. When I see young kids in the gym and I see that they're kind of getting a little, it almost looks tired. I always tell them, I say, hey, when was the last time you went outside and stretched and breathed fresh air?
Great point,
True.
yeah.
And try some different things. Just go for a walk. You don't always have to run. Walking is very important. We've went for plenty of walks after our outside workouts just to relax and get your mind right.
See,
So,
I'm taking notes because we got the master here.
well, I don't know about that.
We have a few minutes left to talk to us about that fight coming up at the Priory, February 16th.
I'm super excited, but very blessed and honored to be a part of the card, no less the main event. There's a ton of really, really high-level and up-and-coming fighters on the card, Teddy included. It's going to be a very exciting, very fun event, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So, yeah, just looking forward to going out there and doing what I like to do, and hopefully if God has favor with me, I'll come out victorious and uninjured.
Is there anybody you might want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I have a very, very supportive support system. My girlfriend Camry, she takes care of me. My head coach Jack Man, my family, my mom, sister, everybody. My mom hasn't ever missed a fight.
Okay.
Camry, since the day that she met me, she's never missed a fight. The last fight we were at, she was on 2 different chairs, standing on the chairs, screaming with her hands up in the air. Like, I have the best support system in the world.
That's important.
So
That's key.
it helps.
Did you bring with you any deer steaks? I love some deer steaks, man.
I got you. I got you, Smokey Jim. I'll get you some.
He loves stew.
I got you.
All right, Ted, your thoughts prior to the fight?
I put in all the work. I'm ready to get it done. That's it. You know what I mean? I like to keep it simple.
There you go. That's smart.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see where this takes me. Like I said, not too excited. I'm prepared. Though, you know what I mean? I'll be excited. I'm getting excited now. Talking about it. I'm in the situation. You know what I mean? I'm ready to fight ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight.
Well, I lost track. How many, would you estimate, how many amateur fights do you think you had? 200, 300?
No. Maybe like 100. Maybe 100, 95 to 100.
Joe, I want to ask you something. A lot of time, I don't know first of all, how many fighters do you have on this card? And have you ever had multiple fighters on a card? And how draining is that for you?
well, in the past, a lifetime ago, I was involved with more than one fighter at a time, but I'm totally dedicated to Teddy, and that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So tell us about this upcoming card, this fight.
I know that we're ready. I know that we're prepared, and I know we can shift gears at a moment's notice in this fight.
I got to ask one thing real quick. We only have a minute left. Jerry Cooney said how hard it is to peak. And when do you peak? How hard is that? That's got to be.
Well, I actually talked to Teddy about conducting a symphony, and that's the way I go about it. You get this going, you get that going, you get this going, and before you know it, it's the crescendo at the end, and that's kind of how I bring him along through the training. I have the schedule of what we're going to do week to week, and we have a cutoff time of what we're going to do, and then sharpen, and then perform.
And on the 16th, I'm gonna be the one standing on the
So-
chair cheering for you
You can't
guys.
stand on the chair, Jim. You're gonna be the one falling when you get up on the chair.
What do you do for Jim?
It's a fine tuning. I can sit next to Jim and just listen to him all day. How about that?
We can't. We can't.
We can.
We've been doing it for 1,000 years.
Get him doing
We
some training
wish-
with you guys.
We wish you guys the very best. You know we're going to be pulling for you. And,
Yes.
again, we'll be there, especially since it's free. You know damn well Jim's going to be there. You make sure you give him some stew. It doesn't matter if it's good or not.
Special
Trust me when I
ingredients.
tell
I'll
you.
get some back straps or something
He'll
for
be
you.
damn. But we really wish you guys all the best. And again, we'll be pulling for
Thank
you.
you.
And I know you guys are going to come out
Yeah.
successful. And you guys are welcome on this show anytime.
Thanks for
as your
having us.
careers
Thanks
continue
for
to
coming
succeed.
through.
Very
So,
honored.
Thank you. We're
Appreciate
honored.
it.
Okay, everybody, make sure you go February 16th at the Priory to the north side. It'll be a very exciting card. Integrity Boxing, Mike McSorley and J.J. Anderson, is that?
Richardson.
Richardson. All right, one of those white names, Anderson or Richardson, whatever. I'm bad with those names. But go to the card. It'll be a great card, and pull for these guys for sure. So thank you for tuning in to the Boxing Authorities.